So welcome back to the Aesthetic Knits podcast. My name is Shaylyn. I am a knitter based in Peterborough, Ontario, Canada. I live here with my cat, my foster cat, and my roommate. So this is just a little place for me to talk about my making journey, whether it's knitting or me dabbling in other little things, crochet, painting, drawing, what else? Ceramics sometimes, embroidery, all sorts of things, whatever I feel like talking about. But yeah, it's been a little bit. I believe I filmed my last podcast in March or maybe February. It's been quite a time for me. Life has been a little bit crazy. I'll get into that a little bit at the end when we do a little bit of nitty chat, but that just means that I have a lot of finished objects this time to show you, which is always exciting. Not too many whips and not too many acquisitions either, but yeah, without further ado, let's jump into it. Okay, so the first one I'm going to show you is what I'm wearing. So this is the Esther Sweater by Camilla Vad. So it's originally a t-shirt design, and oh, my foster kitty is trying to get out. Just one second. All right, let's try that again. All right, so my first object is what I'm wearing currently. So this is the Esther Sweater by Camilla Vad. It's originally a short sleeve sweater, but I wanted it to be long sleeve, so I extended the sleeves and I took a little bit of the pattern from the yoke and I put it into the sleeves, which I think turned out really cute. But yeah, I don't do a lot of color work and I wanted to kind of give it a go, and this was my first time doing one strand in English style and the other strand in continental, and it like changed the game for color work for me. It made my tension just so much better. It was incredible. I started doing it and I was like, because my tension was always such a huge issue, it would just be very lumpy and bumpy, and no amount of blocking is going to save you when it's that lumpy and bumpy. But yeah, I just love how this turned out. I use KnitPicks palette yarn. The main color is Almond. The green is Verdant Heather. Then there's this wheat heather color. There's not a whole lot of it. There's also not like a ton of contrast between those two. They looked like they had a bit more contrast online, but that's, what happens when you buy yarn online. And then the brown is bark. I don't think it's a heather color, I think it's just bark. The yarn I used is a fingering weight and the pattern was a sport weight. So I knit up a swatch and the gauge was just completely off. Row gauge and stitch gauge. So I decided to go up a size to kind of compensate for that. So I usually knit things in kind of the medium size, which works out because I kind of like an oversized fit, so if it's a little bit on the bigger size I don't mind. But for this one I did a large, and this fits it's like a little bit tighter fitting than what I had wanted. I'm gonna stand up and see if I can kind of, so there's like a little bit of positive ease, but not too bad. And then I didn't do any decreases on the sleeve, so it's kind of a bell sleeve. Not really a bell sleeve. All right, I'm so happy with how this turned out, especially once it blocked out. It's so nice. The wool is it's actually quite soft. I'm quite impressed with it. Sometimes just on my chest area it can get a little bit itchy, but my chest is kind of just a more sensitive area on my body. I've been wearing this a ton. I probably need to wash it a little bit. It is pilling a little bit. I don't know if you can see a little bit, but not too bad. It is a 2-ply, so I'm kind of waiting to see how it holds up. Again, it is KnitPicks, which is not exact. It's a pretty budget-friendly yarn. so we'll see how it holds up. Oh, for the cuff, I used a website called Stitch Fiddle to kind of map out the pattern that I wanted to do, so it allows you to have like a grid pattern, a bunch of colors, so you can kind of make your own stranded color work patterns, which is kind of cool. And it was quite easy because I just kind of took parts from here that seemed to work. It's obviously not an exact match, but I think it turned out pretty cute. I think did I go up in a needle size? I feel like I may have gone up or maybe down. I didn't write it in my notes. Doesn't matter. I did it a bunch of times and it just wasn't working out. So I noticed that this pattern, which is the Friday Tee by PetiteKnit, I didn't mention that, was pretty much the same, and it had the folded over collar instead, which I'm a really big fan of. I think it makes it look just so neat, and like it's kind of like store-bought. I guess being store-bought doesn't really matter because, you know, you're hand knitting it, and sometimes it's nice to wear something that looks hand knitted, but I do like a classy look sometimes. So I got that pattern, I cast it on, and I liked it a lot better. So I went with this, and I love the raglan. So it's a raglan increase in broken rib, so you can see that. And then again, I extended the sleeves to make it long sleeves, so I did some increases. I believe I did I write it down? Probably not. Yeah, I decreased every 10 rows 6 times, and then every 8 rows 7 times. And it's still it's not like a tight fitting cuff. I don't really like the tight fitting cuffs, but it does have some increases to give it a little bit of shape. Can you hear my cat screaming? Minnie, come here. Minnie. Okay, she's probably fine. Yeah, I really loved the broken rib stitch. Minnie! Come here! Minnie! Come in here! Come in here or shush, pick one. Oh, she's screaming at my roommate's door. I'm a big fan of the broken rib stitch. I started this sweater, and then in the middle of it, knitted the Friday slip over, which again, I wear that a ton. So I was just on a broken rib kick. I think I even knit the Balaclava #1 by My Favorite Things Knitwear, which is also in broken rib. So I was doing all the broken rib. How many times can I say broken rib in one like a short enough period? But yeah, so I made this a little bit cropped, and also I went up like a 1/4 needle size. So I think it's recommended to knit with 3mm needles, but I went up to 3.25 because I added mohair. Well, it's not actually mohair to it, so it's a little bit, it's fluffier than like what the normal Friday tee would be. And it also grew a little bit because broken rib does grow widthwise and kind of shrinks lengthwise just to compensate. So I did make it a little bit longer, but it's still definitely a cropped length. And I have been wearing this like crazy. Again, have been barely taking it off. Doesn't smell. That's good. So yeah, I just think it's such a classy piece. It looks just very elegant, you know, with jeans, or you can kind of throw it on top of like a dress, or wear it with a skirt. And it's really great for the weather that we're having right now because it is springtime in Canada, so the weather fluctuates greatly. Like we'll be in like the negatives one day, and then I think a couple days ago we were like in the 20s, so it's all over the place. So this is kind of a nice piece for all the weather that you're ever gonna experience. So that is that. I have 3 sweaters today. See, I told you I had a lot of stuff going on. So next, this one is quite a fun one. So I had never worked with unspun yarn before, and I feel like every podcaster is talking about unspun yarn. There's fiber on my lip. So I thought I would give it a go, and I kind of wanted to go for more of a budget-friendly one, though I have ordered some knitted and I managed to get a Patreon spot. So I got some knitted that's coming in the mail, which is really exciting. But before I kind of worked with the nicer stuff, I thought I'd give it a go with Plutolopi. So I have here the Tulip Sweater by Melody Hoffmann. And it's, again, knit with Plutolopi in the color Galaxy. I think the color is so cool. So it's a black color, but it has flecks of red and blue and yellow. And I just think it's just so cool. And I think it really adds a little something special to a flat black color. It felt so exciting to knit too when you get those like flecks of color. Like, oh my gosh. So yes, so the Tulip Sweater has a, can you see, a scalloped edge, which I thought was so cool. And it's actually quite easy. I was very impressed with how easy it was. It's just kind of a mix of like knit two togethers and short rows. Yeah, so the Plutolopi it's rustic for sure. It's a bit scratchy. It has softened up quite a lot when I washed and blocked it, which is really nice. And I've been wearing it quite a bit because I've been working, well, I have 2 new jobs, but one of them I usually work until 8, and I usually park a bit of a distance away from work. So this is really nice to just throw in my bag and wear when I'm walking back to my car when it gets a little bit chillier, because it's so light. I think it took 4 skeins or 4 plates of the Plutolopi. So it's only like 400 grams, and it's held double as well. I believe I used 5mm needles for the body, and I think both the ribs as well. The cuff and the scalloped edging. But I think I used 4.5 on the neck. It recommended 4mm, but I just didn't want to. So I used 4.5, and I kind of regret it because the neckline has stretched out quite a bit. I did want something that wasn't right up close to my neck because it is more rustic, and again, my neck is a little bit more of a sensitive area, but it is stretching out like quite a lot. So I'm thinking maybe I'll try and put some elastic in it, because I can't really rip it back because it's like the collar is, you cast on the collar and then knit the whole thing. But I'm not too super mad about it. But again, it's been getting a lot of wear. I definitely wear something underneath this. I'll usually wear like a flannel or a long sleeve t-shirt underneath it just to protect my skin. And yeah, but I did enjoy working with the unspun yarn, clearly, because I bought some knitted, and I feel like I had a pretty easy time. Like, obviously it kind of slows down your knitting a little bit because you can't be like ripping it around and yanking it because you're gonna break it. I'm not gonna do I don't have the plates with me, so I'm not gonna do the whole like, look guys, if you pull it, it breaks sort of thing. I watched this reel of this person who was kind of poking fun at podcasters and all the things they do, and I haven't even taken a sip of my tea yet, so that'll be coming. So I don't break it as often. I think in the beginning I was breaking it quite a bit, but by the time I'd finished it had been a really long time since I had broken it. I feel like I keep touching it. It's like, I don't know, it's rustic, but it's still kind of soft. Am I crazy? I might be crazy. So yes, that is the Tulip Sweater. I also have other unspun in the mail. I watched Ray Knits, I believe that's her name's podcast. She did kind of a rundown on unspun yarns, and she was talking about the Plutolopi, which is a Spanish unspun yarn. So I thought I'd give that a go, and I bought that to make the swirl slipover by Twin Knits, that 100 acre wool test knitted, and it's so beautiful. Another slipover to add to the pile. So yeah, I'm clearly on the unspun train, like literally everyone else on the internet. But it's fun. It's kind of fun to mix things up a little bit and try some new fibers, and yeah. Okay, so my next finished object, this one's really exciting because I completed my first test knit. I'd never done it before. I'd applied for a bunch, and then I got accepted to Samantha Guerin's test knit for the Floral Notes shawl. Let's see if I can. Oh, it's so beautiful. Yeah, so the Floral Notes shawl, it's a DK weight shawl, and it has kind of a slight cabling pattern throughout the main section, and then there is some striping and a lace pattern, and then there's also some, it's not quite seed stitch, but it's kind of close, and then there's the I-cord bind off as well. I love the colors that I picked. Again, boring browns. I just think it turned out so nice, and it was really fun to kind of be a part of the test knit. I think she gave us quite a bit of time. I think it was probably like 6 weeks, which is good. I kind of flew right through it because I kind of wanted to make sure that I got it finished in time so that I could block it, wash and block it, take some nice photos of it, all that. And yeah, I'm probably gonna throw it over my shoulders. It might be too hot for it, but yeah. I don't knit this. I think this is my first like big shawl. There are much bigger shawls, but the pattern is just so beautiful. I haven't mentioned the yarn. So the yarn is Sandis Garn, pure Gynt in, the main color is Marzipan, and then the darker color is light brown heather, I believe. So it's not very heathered, but it is a 100% Norwegian wool, and it's actually, it feels quite nice. It's not very scratchy. It's definitely a rust, like a, it's definitely a wool for sure, but I think it's pretty soft as far as it goes. And again, the two colors together is so nice. I think I want to use this yarn to knit the Tecumseh sweater by Caitlin Hunter. I'm just gonna have to kind of figure out a third color to bring into it. So I want to do it again in the Marzipan for the full as the main color, and then use this as an accent color, and then find another accent color. Yeah, Samantha Guerin was so sweet. Anytime I posted photos of it, she was commenting and liking, and she was really encouraging, which is really cool. I don't know if I was the most helpful test knitter because I didn't really find any issues with the pattern. I think there were other people that found a few things, but I just really enjoyed being a part of the group, being a part of the team, and I definitely think I want to do some more test knits in the future. It is a really great thing to throw on the couch because it's nice in the evening when I don't want to put on a whole sweater, but I can just cozy up in my shawl like an old lady and with my knitting and get comfortable. So yeah, that is the Floral Notes shawl, and I believe the pattern is available today actually. May 4th is just when I'm filming it. Who knows when I'm going to post this because I always put it off and off and off so I don't have to do the editing. But yeah, so that is that. There are more finished objects, I think. Oh yeah, we got two more. So another petite knit pattern. Sorry, I made a goal this year to knit less petite knit patterns, and not knit less petite knit patterns, but knit more indie designer patterns, because there's so many patterns out there and there's so many incredible designers that are a lot less known. But this so this is the Sunday tee. I started this ages and ages ago. I think I started this at the end of last summer, but it is knit in Knitting for Olive's cotton merino, so it's like 70% cotton, 30% merino. and it's definitely more of a summer top, that is for sure. So I kind of put it down to work on some more woolly pursuits. And then I picked it back up now that the movie theaters are reopened. This was a really great movie theater knit because it's on 3mm needles, and this part requires a little bit of concentration because it has that ribbing and you do increases. But once you get to the body took forever. So it was really great to bring to the movie theaters and not have to really be able to, like, I didn't have to see what I was doing, so I could just knit and make some progress in it. So yeah, I haven't worn this yet because I haven't blocked it. So, but I'm just absolutely in love with it. The color is just beautiful. I love a rusty orange, brown, red. I think maybe it's a bit more, it's more on the red side. I think the color is pretty, no, in real life it's a little bit more orange than what it's coming up on camera. But it fits so nice because the ribbing kind of like hugs onto your shoulders. And then it has the kind of traditional looking hem. It's definitely not perfect, that's for sure. And again, it needs a block. And it has it on the bottom as well. Yeah, you can kind of see that it's it ain't perfect. There are definitely mistakes, but I'm hoping with a block it'll kind of even everything out. I really like the knitting for all of cotton merino. I think it's really nice, and I think I want to knit something else in that, maybe. But I got a lot of yarn and a lot of things that I need to complete. This also has a folded collar. It's really like a very thin one. I think this was the first time I ever did the folded collar. But I just, yeah, again, it just looks store-bought, I think. And I think this is gonna be a perfect shirt for summer. Because it's just like, even with the 3mm, the cotton merino is a very light fingering, very, very light fingering. So it is very drapey, and yeah, I think it's gonna be really great for summer. And last finish object. This one's kind of a wonky one. So I knit the, what are they called? The Women's Felted Slippers by Monique Ray. I was inspired by Inga from Knitting Traditions. How many episodes in a row can I mention Inga from Knitting Traditions? We should have a count going on in the corner. So yeah, I knit those and then I felted them. This was my first time machine felting, and they came out a little bit wonky, but it's fine. So yeah, they look a little bit kind of sad. So I knit these in, again, KnitPicks, Wool of the Andes in the color Amber Heather. The color is just so lovely. I think all their heather colors are just really nice. Oh, it really looks like crap when I hold it up. But yeah, they're pretty wonky. They're still kind of a little bit big on my foot. I don't think they felted like super evenly. I put them in one of those laundry bags for delicates and washed it. I think I washed it like 3 times because every single time I'd take it out and it was still really big. And it's still, yeah, I don't know, it still wasn't perfectly fit my foot. And it was kind of a weird thing to block because I don't really keep plastic bags in my house very much. So I didn't really have anything to like stuff it so it would keep its shape, so they kind of sit flat. They're really warm and they're quite nice, but you know, not every project is successful, and that's okay, especially since this is my first time doing machine felting. We live and we learn. But yeah, I think, oh yeah, for this pattern, the Wool of the Andes was held double, so I think I knit them on like 8mm needles. So I think I finished like one of these in an evening and then the other one in the evening. Also, I think these don't really like match perfectly because I think I messed up on the pattern and forgot to knit like a row or 2 on here, and normally that wouldn't be a super big problem, but when you're knitting on 8mm needles, it's kind of, a bigger deal than you think it's going to be. But yeah, there's cat hair all over these. It's kind of stupid, but yeah, I've been wearing them occasionally, not a ton. But again, not every project turns out perfectly, especially when you're trying a new technique. I think that's all my finished objects. So we're gonna move on to whips or works in progress. I don't have a ton of them because I've just been finishing so many things. So again, another PetiteKnit pattern. I swear I have a bunch of patterns that I'm gonna do from smaller designers, I promise. So I wanted to knit a chunky weight cardigan because my temperature fluctuates quite a bit. I'm kind of a sweaty person, and cardigans are nice because you can kind of have them open and have a little bit of a breeze, and then you can kind of close them up if you want a little bit more warmth. So I was looking for chunky weight cardigans, and of course a PetiteKnit one came up. So this is the Novice cardigan chunky edition. So, oh, it's so soft. It's so soft. So the yarn is Peace Fleece worsted in rabbit gray, I believe. And then I held it, I think I have yarn with me. Yeah, so it's the Peace Fleece. And then I'm holding it with the fuzzy yarn by WeAreKnitters. Again, had this in stash, had it before. So those held together are about a bulky weight. And yeah, I love the fabric that it creates. I think it's so pretty. The Marl effect, because the Peace Fleece is a little bit darker, and then the fuzzy yarn kind of makes it a little bit lighter. So yeah, it's on hanger. I have one sleeve done, and then I need to do the other. I kind of put this on the back burner because I'm working on some commissions, which I'm going to get to in a little while. But yeah, and I think this is gonna be good. I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to wear this before it gets warm, but nothing wrong with that. I can store it and then make lots of use of it next year, or at least in the winter. So the Peace Fleece is 75% Navajo, Rambouillet, and domestic fine wool, and then 25% mohair. So it's very squishy. And then of course this bad boy is, what does it say? 40% alpaca, 41% fine Highland wool, and 19% donegal, which I believe the donegal bits are synthetic. So it's kind of like a mohair. Let's see if I can pull out a little bit of it. Yeah, so it looks kind of like, so it's a lace weight, and instead of silk, the core is a very thin 2-ply, and then the alpaca is the fuzz, and then it has the little donegal neps to it. So I really love this yarn, and I'm really sad that about what WeAreKnitters did, because now I won't buy it anymore, but I'll find something else. But yeah, so the two together make this sweater so soft. So we've got, you know, we got wool, we got mohair, we got alpaca, we got, it's just a very, very cozy sweater. It is yoke knit, so it increases evenly across the sweater, and it's also knit top down. So, and oh, it doesn't have any increases in the arm, which is kind of, I didn't really like, because the sleeves are huge and it was just gonna be a lot of fabric in the arm area. And I'm not against, like, I knit this sleeve as a straight sleeve, but I just feel like with how big, like, that's, if it was this big all the way down, that's a freaking chunky sleeve. So I added some increases. I think I played around with it a little bit because I did, you know, 2 increases every 6 rows, and then I think I did it every 8 and then 10 because I was just decreasing too rapidly. I'm not used to knitting in like bulky or chunky weights, so it's kind of amazing how much of a difference one stitch can make. So I'm pretty sure I did like 2 increases every 10 rows, like 6 times. And then I think it was like a decent size that I liked. And again, the sleeve is not like super tight. And I think when it blocks out, it's gonna be a little bit bigger. I didn't use a smaller needle for the cuff because I don't often do that with the hem cuff and the hem ribbing is what I mean, or with the cuff ribbing, because I kind of like a straighter shape. I don't want it to cinch in as much, not all the time, but a lot of the time. So I did that in the same needle size as the body. The piece fleece is kind of fun because it has a lot of like vegetable matter that you pick out, which I guess some people may not like that, but I think it's kind of funny. You're like, oh, this is some natural yarn. And yeah, I'm really liking the combo of the yarn, though. The piece fleece, it smells like chalk, not chalk, like crayons. Like it really brings me back to like being young and using crayons. I don't know why that would be. Maybe it's the spinning oil, but I'm assuming that'll wash out decently when I do a wash of it. 6.5 millimeter for the body, and then 5.5. I think I just used that for the collar because it is kind of better with the collar if it's a little bit cinched in. Hence the reason my tulip sweater is like growing and growing in the neckline. But yeah, that's everything for my Novice cardigan chunky edition. Oh, I can't wait to wear it. I'm so excited. Yes, what is next? Oh, I got some stuff in this bag. So I did a Zoom knit night through the Kroy podcast again. I've done it before, so I did it a second time. And in the group was Lily from the Untangled knitting podcast, and it was really cool to meet her. I'd never seen her podcast before, but she told me about her podcast and started watching it, and she's awesome. She's so great. She uses so many more bright colors than I do, but I love all the patterns that she uses. But she was talking about these project bags by Heather West, or not Heather West, sorry, Heidi West. Apologize. And she showed her like basket version of the May design. So Heidi West prints her own patterns on the fabric, and she did a bunch of the flowers of the birth months. And so she showed the May one, and I'm a May baby. My birthday is next week actually. And so it's the Lily of the Valley, and this pattern is just absolutely stunning. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. It's so beautiful. I really just love the muted colors of it with the little tiny petal flowers. And the quality of this bag is amazing. It's got the leather handles. It's got lots of pockets inside, fully like perfectly lined. I used to sew, and I've never made anything this good quality. So I was so happy. My parents are in, well, actually they're back now, but they have a place in Florida and they stay there for 6 months of the year. And I saw the price that shipping was going to be to get it to Canada, and it was kind of more than I had wanted. And then I remembered that they were down in Florida, and so I had it shipped to them, and then they brought it back for me, which I very, very, very much appreciate. So I could get my bag. So in here we got some whips. I really shoved a lot of stuff in here. It holds a lot of yarn, which is really nice. So I am working on well, I guess this is a half object. So this is a pair of socks that I'm working on. I got myself a pair of the circular, I think these are the 9-inch circular needles for myself for Christmas when I was in Montreal. They're the Chow Gu ones. And oh, I dropped some stitches. There we go. And when I first kind of tried them, I was like, I don't know about this. It kind of hurts my hands a little bit. But I've kind of gotten to the groove of it where I've been, I've been doing English style flicking instead. And that's been working out a lot better for this style of knitting. But these are just kind of a vanilla sock pattern that I do for a lot of my socks. So it's cuff down, heel flap and gusset sock. Oh, I knit the first one already, so I should probably show you that instead. So we got this here, kind of crazy pattern. So this is the Patons Kroy sock yarn in the color Mexicala stripes. So it's self-striping, which is so fun. I made a pair of socks out of this yarn during the beginning of lockdowns, and then my roommate at the time bought them, and I just thought that they were so cool. Like crazy colors. I'm usually not a crazy color kind of person, but with socks I feel like you can kind of get away with it because it's not directly on your face. So I knit this one, and then I am working away on this one as well. They don't match perfectly, but if anyone says anything, I'll smack them. So yeah, we got those socks on the go. And then I have another pair of socks, don't I? So, oh my goodness, this is a mess. This is a real mess. Okay. Oh, this one has some dropped stitches too. Why the heck not? Okay. Another new method of sock knitting for me. So I swore for so many years I was not a magic loop person. I just couldn't get the hang of it at all. It just wasn't for me until, as a lot of people can probably say, they started using the ChowGoo red lace needles. The cord is just the best thing that's ever come into my life. So I have been working away on, well, actually I've been knitting a lot of stuff, like small circumference things in the round on magic loop. So these socks are one of them, and these are the stone socks by Tatiana, oh gosh, what's her last name? It is Tatiana Kulikova. And I'm using, again, the Patons Kroy sock yarn. This is the gray Marl, I believe. So this pattern uses a bunch of slip stitches and then holding the yarn in the front to create this kind of diamond pattern. It looks kind of, I feel like if I stretch it out, it'll look better. I do need to do a bit of a black block on it, and I think it'll look a lot better, but it has this really cool diamond pattern. I think the Marl makes it look really cool because it doesn't detract from it, but you can still definitely see the pattern and the texture. It's a really interesting technique, and I'm really liking it. I'm just kind of nervous that, like, I hope my leg fits into this, because since it does have the floats held in the front, it makes it less stretchy. But we'll come to that when we do. But I just, as you can tell, I'm a big fan of the Patons Kroy sock yarn. It's very inexpensive and it's really easily accessible. You can get it at Michael's in Peterborough, and probably in a whole lot of other places as well. I'm using 2.5 millimeters needles, and I'm knitting the smaller size. I think there's 2 size options. Oh, this pattern is in the 52 Weeks of Socks book by Lina Magazine. I am loving that book. I just have it sitting on my coffee table and just look at it every once in a while. It's so beautiful. Can you hear the screaming that's going on? My next door neighbors have 3 kids, and their little girl is a screamer. Sometimes it's hard to tell if she's screaming like she's being murdered or she's just having fun. I wasn't a screaming kind of child, so I don't really understand, but that's okay. So yeah, these are in the process of being made. I feel like I keep putting these off and I don't know. Well, I have a few commissions that I have going. So I think I forgot one of them downstairs, but I'm working on a kind of wrap shawl sweater thing for a friend of my mom's. It's kind of my own pattern. I'm kind of basing it off of a photo that she sent me from a product on Erin.com, I think it is, where you can buy like Erin style Irish sweaters. And so it's pretty much just like a long scarf that you wrap around the back of the shoulders across the body, and then there's a section that you attach to the middle of the back, and you kind of attach buttons so you can button it on the sides. So yeah, I'm kind of trying to figure out how I'm going to be doing that. And she wanted it in merino wool, which is, you know, soft and probably going to pill. And also it's kind of growing quite a bit because I got it superwash because I didn't know what her like laundering style is. Style, it's not really the right word. So I got the superwash and it's kind of growing a lot. So I'm knitting, it's a lot of cables, and I've been knitting sections of it and then blocking it and then knitting more sections and then blocking it just to make sure that the size is right and it's not going to like completely stretch out, especially since it's wrapped across the body and it does need a little bit of negative ease. So I'm kind of working away on that. That one I'm using KnitPicks as well, the Swish DK in like a navy blue color. I think it's called Mimic. So I'm working away on that. And then I also am working on some baby stuff, which is super cool. Oh, I forgot to show you, I have like a half finished object. Okay, so my best friend is having a baby. I think I showed part of this in my last podcast, but I had made a bunch of alterations to it in that, and then none of them were really working out. So I just ripped it out and I restarted and I followed the pattern like a good girl. So yeah, my friend is pregnant. I'm so excited. So I of course had to knit a little baby garment. I am knitting it in the 1 year size just so she can get a little bit more wear out of it, I'm hoping. But it is the Olive's wrap. It's gonna be hard to show because I still need to block it, but look at this little, okay, I need to hold this up better. There we go. Look at this little guy. Oh, the hem's flipped up too. Okay, you get the picture. So it's so cute. So it's a, like the pattern says, a wrap top. So it wraps across the body, and then I'm gonna add some buttons along the raglan edges there, and then it'll button up. So it's knit bottom up, and then you knit the sleeves, and then you attach them, and then knit the raglan decreases. It's so cute, but this pattern was such a pain in the ass because it just, you don't bind off any stitches for the armpits to connect them. So it was really difficult. It just like wants you to put the sleeves and the body and the sleeves all onto one circular needle. So it was really tight, it was really annoying. I had to kind of implement some like magic loop methods to make it work. But it came out in the end. It's gonna be cute. I am never gonna knit that pattern again. Oh, it's by Knitting for Olive, by the way. And I knit it in, again, KnitPicks Stroll fingering weight. So it's, I believe it's 75% merino and 25% nylon. There's cat hair olive on it. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong about the numbers, I'll put it on the screen. But yeah, so they didn't find out the gender until pretty recently. So I thought I would knit it in like a gray and a green since it's pretty neutral. And they know the gender now, and I'm not going to say it on a public space because I don't know if they want that. But yeah, I also have a plan. I have some leftovers of the green, and I think I'm gonna knit some little booties and then maybe a little baby bonnet. I think that's gonna be super cute. So yeah, oh, it also has, as you can see, it has the kind of hem look to it. Again, it was kind of a pain in the butt to do that, especially since even with a baby garment, there were still a lot of stitches on the bottom. And I picked up, I hand stitched this down, and it was a lot of stitches. So yeah, I'm gonna toss that out of mild irritation. But I picked the pattern, she did not pick the pattern, so I can only be angry at myself. So yeah, and then another baby item. So I have another friend who is having a baby as well, and she reached out to me and she asked if I could make some baby, like a newborn set for her, which I was happy to do. So I am knitting the Maple Baby Overalls by, oh, what's the name of the person? By Sandra Magalhaes. I'm probably pronouncing that last name wrong. Yeah, I'm knitting this little newborn overall set. Another example of something that's gonna like look weird because, oh, I'm in the middle of a row too. You know how it goes. But yeah, look at it. There are just threads everywhere, but trust the process. Knitting is nothing but trust the process. It's so cute. I can't believe there's gonna be little creatures wearing these things and growing out of these things probably pretty quickly. So this one was a much more pleasant knit for me. It's in a DK weight. It's in the KnitPicks Swish DK as well, in the color Squirrel Heather. I got the yarn, and on the photo it was a lot more brown. When I got it, it's a very true gray. And my friend does like more brown tones, so I'm thinking, I'm gonna ask her if she likes the color first, but I'm gonna ask her if I could dye it maybe. I was thinking of dyeing it in tea or coffee to get kind of the color that we both like. But if not, it's still a really nice color. Like the gray is still super cute. But it's knit top down, raglan on 3.5 millimeter needles for the body, and then 3 millimeters for the cuffs. And then you have the ribbing, as you can see there. And then you add the buttonholes. You can't really see the buttonholes very well. They're pretty small. And then I just like stitch down at the crotch area and sew on the buttons, and Bob's your uncle. There's also some short rows in the back for a little diaper butt to fit. How freaking cute is that? Oh my god, it's so cute. So yeah, I am almost finished these, which is really exciting. I just need to knit the rest of the button band, and then I stitch that little section down and weave in the freaking all those ends, and then it'll be done. Oh, I can't believe how cute this is. I really like this pattern. I think if I'm knitting more baby knits for people, I think this is gonna be a really great one to do because it's just very simple, and it's great for beginners as well because there are options to knit everything flat if you're wanting to, which I think if you can knit in the round. So, and it just I avoid seaming a little bit more these days. So, and I did the magic loop for all the little leggies and the little arms. Oh, it's so cute. So yeah, there's that. And I have some plans to also knit her a little baby hat and some little baby booties as well. I think I'm gonna have some yarn left over. Don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but we'll come to that when it happens. So yeah, I think, is that everything? Oh my goodness. I feel like I've been talking for years. That is all my whips or half objects. I'm gonna drink my tea. It's definitely cold. Yep, it's cold. That's fine. Okay, so I don't have a lot of acquisitions this time. I have been unemployed for 3 months, so there's been not a lot of money to purchase yarn, but I did get some because Stress Knits posted about their gardening club subscription, and it was based on tulips, which she had a photo of what the colors were going to be based on, and it was so beautiful. And I've been wanting to try her yarn for quite a long time. She's just so sweet. I love Stacy of Stress Knits podcast. That's one of the podcasts that when I see it in my subscription box on YouTube, I get really excited and I watch it right away. So I did get that. So it came with a really nice card with a really great illustration on it. I think that's just so stunning. I'm gonna put that up on my wall. Actually, I have just above me 2 cork boards, and I want to use those to start pinning my swatches on, partly to get myself to knit swatches so that I can have kind of a collection of them, make them kind of a little bit of an art piece, and also, yeah, just to show them. I think I saw in Andrea Mowry's I'll Knit If I Want To, she has like a cork board of swatches, and I think it looks so cool. It's a cool way to see a bunch of patterns that you made all in one glance. And I think PetiteKnit has something like that, but hers is a little bit more chaotic where they're like just pinned all over the wall. But I think I want to put this up there with it as well because it's so beautiful. And there's a little sticker that came with it as well. So I didn't show you the colors. So these are the colors. Oh, aren't they so beautiful? So there's like a very soft pink, it's a really soft yellow. This one is very tonal as well. You can see there's variations of lighter and well, it's all very light, but lighter and a bit darker colors. There's this kind of peachy salmony color. Again, this one is tonal. I think all of them look pretty tonal. There is a yellow that's such a lovely sunflowery yellow. And then there is a kind of like orangey yellow, but a little bit more muted. So beautiful. Just all of them together, I just think are stunning. I think it's $85.15 for superwash merino and nylon. So it's great for socks. So I think I'm gonna knit I think they're like the itsy bitsy socks. They're intended for scrap yarn, but I think that the mini skeins are going to be really nice for them. So I can't wait to get onto that. It's also just really soft. So I treated myself to that. And then I got another subscription style package. So I have really been keeping my eye on Zakami yarns ever since Inga from Knitting Traditions spoke about them. And their colorways are just stunning, and they have all these wonderful luxury yarns. And then they came out with the Yarn and Tea Club. So they send you tea and then a 100-gram skein of yarn of your choosing in one of their bases, and you don't know the color as well. So I forgot the tea downstairs, but it was a really nice green tea. I've been drinking it quite a bit. It's so nice. I'll put the name of the company along here because I think you should definitely know who it is, because it's a really nice loose leaf tea. I do prefer loose leaf teas. So yeah, I've been drinking that. And then this is the color that came in. I opened the box and I gasped because it's so beautiful. This lovely teal blue, and it's so fluffy. The base is their natural fluff, I believe. So it's 38% baby alpaca, 25% merino, and 37% Pima cotton. So I have some plans to maybe make like an undershirt with this, because I don't really want to make socks with it because I think it deserves not better than socks, but I don't want to be stepping on this. So I want to make kind of like a tank top maybe, because it does have the cotton in it. I think it'll be okay for that, and I think it'll be good as like a base layer. So I'm thinking I want to knit the Summer Secret or the My Little Secret. I can't remember. I can never remember which one is which, by Jessie May, because watching the Heather and Hops podcast, I love that podcast. I always want to call her Heather. I don't know why. Kat from the Heather and Hops podcast. She wears the My Little Secret. Wait, my secret, the little secret, and then the summer secret. Yeah, I'm getting myself more and more confused. She wears those as like undergarments instead of wearing bras, and I think that's a pretty nice idea. And I think this, it's just so soft that I want it with something next to my skin. So yeah, I think that's all my yarny stuff. It's freaking plenty. Oh my god. Well, it has been many months, so yeah. I'm going to, I don't know if we have time for nitty chat, but I'm gonna do it anyway because I've had a lot going on in my freaking life lately and I just want to talk about it. I'm gonna grab a project. I'm gonna work on my Mexicala striped socks. I think I do need to fix a stitch before I get going because I think I dropped a stitch, but that's fine. So yeah, I have a new roommate and she is freaking wonderful. We went to high school together and we've just been having such a nice time. Laid off we were never January, really which I haven't really talked about very much because it was just have a good time getting to know each other. A real bummer, which has been super lovely. And so I was unemployed for 3 months looking for work and no one was really hiring, or people were hiring, but apparently I'm overqualified, which is very interesting. So I was spending a lot of time knitting, hence the reason I have so many finished objects and like big objects, like sweater objects, like fingering weight sweater objects. And then my roommates announced that they were gonna move out. So I have been looking for a roommate and then they've been moving out and it's just been it was absolute chaos in the house. Okay, I'm back. So I ran out of space on my phone because this is getting long and I had to go and delete a bunch of podcasts, but it's all good. So I was talking about how I'm now working in my local yarn store and I get to squish yarn. But yeah, I'm trying to be very good and not buy a ton of stuff because again, I'm getting back into the swing of work and I don't really have a lot of money to throw around. But it makes it very hard when you're touching it all day. They have quite a lot of very natural, they do have some superwash stuff, but they have a lot of GOTS certified yarns and they have quite a bit of like cotton blends and stuff, which is good since we're going into kind of the warmer months. But yeah, it's been so nice. I'm just so excited to be a part of this. So yeah. And another big thing is I took in my friend's cat. My friend got a work contract for 6 months in Northern Ontario and she couldn't take her cats. She has 2, so one of her friends is taking one and I took the other. So I now have her big chunky gray tortie Luna. She's so cute. She's been very shy. Obviously she's not familiar with this place, so the first week she spent hiding under the bed, which was so sad, but she's been coming out more and her and my cat Minnie have been kind of, you know, sniffing each other and not growling at each other anymore, which is really good. So I think that they're gonna be okay. It's only gonna be 6 months, so, but Luna is a very different cat from my cat. Minnie is very cute, but she's very sassy and she loves her space. She doesn't like being picked up and she'll let you scratch her for like a little bit and then she'll be like, that's enough, man, that's enough. Luna, you could give her scratches truly all day and I don't think it would be enough for her. She's one of those cats that like you scratch her butt and she like puts her butt up really high in your face and she like, you like pet her head and she's like moving her head around the whole time, so she's very sweet and it's fun to experience other cats, especially since my cat doesn't like cuddles, so I get my cat cuddles from someone else. But yeah, I am getting ready to go back into wedding DJing as well, so this summer I'm gonna have 3 jobs, which is gonna be a bit wild, but Mama needs some money. Just call myself Mama. Who do I think I am? Yeah, I have 2 weddings this month, and then pretty consistently every weekend until mid-October. So that's something to look forward to. I think it'll be fun. Last year was just very, very crazy. I think because, you know, people hadn't seen each other in social settings in a really long time. So people were drinking like the world was ending. There were some sloppy weddings that I had to rule over, which was not my favorite. That's for sure. So I think after last summer, things will calm down a little bit. So that's something to look forward to. And yeah, I hope I'm not going to be driving all over all of Ontario like I was last year. But again, I'll go where I'm needed, go where the money is. So, but yeah, I think that's about everything that I can say. So it'll be nice to get back to working. So I'm gonna be quite busy. So we'll see how much knitting I can get done. I can always sneak it in, especially with wedding DJing, because there's a lot of downtime. So I can kind of sneak it in there. And then I don't know if I'm allowed to knit at the knitting store. Oh, it's called Needles in the Hay, by the way. Check them out. They have a really great website too, and they ship all over the place. I was packaging orders to Yellowknife in, you know, northern Canada. I can't remember which territory that one's in. That's terrible. I'll Google it after. But yeah, check it out, and you can read their blog and see my little shining face on there. They posted a little thing about me and a little bio about me as well. So yeah, so things are definitely on the upswing. It was, yeah, the last few months were quite difficult. I struggle with anxiety on a normal day. So the last 3 months, it's just hard not, you know, having a reason to get up in the morning. And so you don't, yeah, I started going to therapy, which has been helping a lot. And I switched medications as well. So I want to say, if you need help, reach out to people. It doesn't have to be professionals, just reach out. I know how hard it is. I didn't reach out for a very long time, but you don't have to do it all on your own. I know your brain tells you that you have to slug through it on your own, but you don't. And my friend told me this little bit of knowledge that nobody gets a gold star for suffering at the end of their life. So yeah, and on that note, I'm gonna say goodbye. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Comment, tell me what you guys are working on. I love to hear what projects you guys are working on. It always inspires me and allows me to add more patterns to my ever-growing Ravelry queue. I had like 400 views on my last podcast, which is so exciting. I can't believe it. In my brain I was like, oh, no one's gonna watch this, you know, even if it's just me talking to myself or, you know, my mom's friends, because my mom told all her friends to watch. But yeah, I know in the grand scheme of, in the YouTube world, 400 views isn't a ton, but to me, that could be like 1 million. It's just amazing that it blows my mind that people are just willing to pause for a moment and listen to little me talk about my knitting. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it so much, more than you'll ever know. If you want to see more from me, I have my Instagram, which is aesthetic.knit, and then you can follow me on my Ravelry, which is shaelyno. I'm going to link that in the show notes down below. I've been a lot more regular on my Ravelry recently. The other day I pulled out the kitchen scale and was measuring my yarn to be more accurate on my Ravelry account, because I'm a crazy person. And I hope everyone enjoys their day. Bye, everybody. If not, reach out to somebody. Try to take some deep breaths and remember, it's not always, just don't listen. You don't always have to listen to what your brain tells you.